The car that you can see on your screen right now is called the Trion Nemesis. And this is how the Trion Nemesis looks like if you try to perform a normal drift with it. And this is how it looks like with a 360 floaty. Now, how exactly do I do a floaty? Let me help you. Now, some of you watching might be wondering, what is a floaty? Well, floaty is just a name that was given to this technique. Now, I first learned about floaty drifting from a friend back in the days of Asphalt 9. A floaty has now become an important mechanic of this game. It basically refers to drifting your car in such a way that it keeps either one of the front wheels lifted off the track surface. The main benefit of a floaty is that it allows me to take a turn with significantly higher drift speed than what is possible with the regular drift. There are mainly two types of floaties, a 360 floaty and a Nitro Punch floaty. Let's start with the first type. A 360 float should be done on tracks where there is enough headroom for you to be able to drift your car. You see, the drawback of a 360 floaty is that it makes your car go really wide in the turns. So it should be understood that a 360 floaty cannot be used on every type of turn. Generally, it's best to do 360 floaties on tracks like Shanghai. In this case, it's Pudong Rise. These are tracks that have wide open roads, and they allow you to drift at great speeds. Now, have you ever watched the movie Cars where Lightning McQueen is struggling to take a corner properly and then his mentor, Doc Hudson, gives him an advice saying that turn left to go right. In the real world, it is called as countersteering, but for Asphalt, that thing is interpreted a bit differently. Let me explain. For this video, I will use the Trion Nemesis as an example. I believe this car is one of the best cars to practice this technique. To perform a 360 float, make sure your car is right at the beginning of a turn. In this example, I am supposed to perform a floaty towards the right. So I will spin my car in the opposite direction of the turn, which is left. Now about halfway in the 360, I make sure to tap the brake button again, and while doing so, I ensure that I am turning in the direction that I am supposed to go in. This should be done so that my car continues drifting. In this case, it's towards the right. Now once you are used to 360ing your car properly, there is an added step. After starting a 360, make sure to give your car a quick dash of nitro. It can be yellow nitro, it can be perfect nitro, doesn't really matter. This will allow your car to sustain a bit more speed with the floaty drift. There is another advantage of a 360 floaty, and that is the extra bit of nitro it gives. So while getting out of a corner, this extra nitro can allow you to reach a full bar and then shockwave out of the corner to reach your max speed quicker. This has a significant advantage. Let's move on to the second type of floaty. This is called as a Nitro Punch. A Nitro Punch is useful for doing floaties after jumps or on sharp corners. You see, while I was explaining the 360 floaty, I mentioned that it makes your car go significantly wider in the corners. So it is limited to tracks where there are wide spaces for taking a turn. But a Nitro Punch is different from a 360 floaty. This is how you do a Nitro Punch. As you are approaching a corner, you start the drift by tapping the brake button once. Now as soon as you are in the turn, make sure to do this. While you are drifting, tap the nitro button for a split second and then brake button again to ensure your car continues to drift. Now did you notice the quick dash of nitro you just applied? That nitro allows your car to sustain a high speed floaty. This is beneficial for turns where you can't normally do a 360 floaty. Now these two techniques require a lot of practice, but trust me, once you get used to it, you will be winning a lot of races. Now, how do I know which car is good for a floaty and which car isn't? There is a way to figure it out. Whenever you are playing with a car for the first time, try to pay attention to the way the car reacts with the track surface as well as your inputs. The inputs can be anything from drifting and applying nitro. If the car feels firmly planted to the ground, then most likely it's not suitable for a floaty drift. But if it's bouncy in terms of feel, then the car may be good enough for a floaty drift. Or simply you can just try to 360 with a car and then see if it sustains a high speed drift or not. I hope this video serves as a good explanation of floaty drifting and you are able to learn something from it. Thanks for watching and I will see you guys in the next video. As always, I'm your friend Amogh.